Hey, what's up guys? Nick White here. I do tech and coding stuff on Twitch and YouTube. Check the description for all my information. I'm sorry I haven't been posting so much. I just started a new job, so I've been focusing on that. I want to do good at that, but definitely comment below problems you want me to do, or send them in Discord, and I'm going to be doing a bunch of them this weekend. As well as like finishing some stuff for Patreon and all that stuff, but I know people do want me to get into this, so this is Reshape the Matrix 566. So in MATLAB there is a very useful function called reshape, which can reshape a matrix into a new one with a different size but keep its original data. Okay, great. You're given a matrix represented by a two-dimensional array and two positive integers R and C representing the row number and column number of the wanted reshaped matrix, respectively. The reshaped matrix needs to be filled with all of the original elements of the same row traversing order that they were in. Okay. So we want to take a matrix, and wait, let's just read this. If the reshape operation with the given parameters possible is legal, output the matrix, otherwise output the original. Okay, so if it's possible, okay, here's what we're doing. We're given an input. Dang it. We're given an input, nums, right? We're given this 2D array. It's got, some amount of rows, some amount of data. It could be different. In this case, it's 2 by 2 both times. And then we're given an R and C value of the new shape of the matrix we want to build. So we're given a 2 by 2 right here. There's 2 rows, 1 row, 2 rows, 2 columns, 1 column, 2 columns. We're given the values we want to shape it to. And we're given 1 row, 4 columns. So instead of 2 rows, 2 columns, we're now going to change it to 1 row, 4 columns. And we want to keep all the original data, but we want it to look something like this, where it's 1 row now, and then you see it's 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, and you want it to be filled in the same row traversing order. So meaning just the order that they're in has to be, the same in the new reshaping. Okay, so this is a pretty easy problem. It's labeled easy. You do have to think a little bit. I actually got tricked up on this. I did this one on stream, but it's not difficult. First things first, you just want to get the number of rows in nums.length. So this is the array that we're given, nums. These are the values that we want to reshape it to for rows and columns. We'll get the current number of rows and the current number of columns. So rows is nums.length, columns is always nums of 0.length. So to reshape this, we need the element sizing of the array to be exactly the same. So the rows times columns, 2 times 2 is 4, has to be the same as the one we want to shape it to, meaning 1 times 4 is 4 as well. It has to have the same amount of space for the same amount of elements. Otherwise, it's either going to be too big or too small and have, extra space or not enough. So, first thing we can do is check if rows times columns is not equal to R times C being the values we want to reshape it to, then we will just return nums because we cannot reshape it because it's not going to be the same size. It's either going to be too big or too small. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't. Next thing we could do is we have our return type is an int 2D array because we're just reshaping it with different number of rows and columns. We could call this result. You could call it output array. I always call mine output array if I can, if it makes sense. It makes sense in this case. We're given the dimensions that we want to make this already right up here, R and C. So number of rows and number of columns we want to reshape it to. So we just pass R and C into there. Then we're going to make variables. So we're going to say row num is 0 and column num is 0. And we're going to use these variables to fill our new array up. So we'll just do references like output array of row num, column num. Sorry, didn't even add num there. Okay, so you know what I mean? You can access the respective indices. They're going to start at 0, 0, so we'll start at the first index, start filling it up, and traverse as we go. And we're just going to do a basic traversal, right? If you know how to traverse a 2D array, it's just a double for loop, so I less than rows. We have the rows. We're looping through nums. We're going to loop through the nums array, piece by piece, column by column, and we're like a regular traversal, and then we're going to fill this up column by column first and then traverse over the rows to keep that ordering. So basic 2D array traversal, you go through the rows of nums and then you go through the columns of nums. So we just say j is 0, j less than columns j plus plus. And you just do, here's the basic reference. You just take your access to your array up here, output array, and you say with the variables, we're going to say is equal to nums of I and j, right? Nums of I and j is just regular traversal through nums. Row num and column are 0, 0, and we're going to be incrementing column num. And we increment column num because, for example, if we look down here, right, in our 2D array, if we know the size of it is going to be 1, 4, right? So we have, we have to fill these 4 spaces, right? This is what it looks like. We're just trying to fill it up now. If we're looping through nums and it looks like this, I guess, right? Then we want to fill the columns first. We're not going to be incrementing rows because it doesn't make any sense. Like you have to fill the rows hold columns, but columns don't hold rows. That's how I would put it best. You know what I mean? Like the rows fill with columns. You fill the columns up within the row, and then you move on to the next row. You don't fill the row and then move on to the next column. That's not how it works. Just because it's obvious, the rows hold the columns, right? So you have to do the columns first, and then once the column num is equal to the desired number of columns, then we can just set the column num back to 0 and increment the rows because we're moving on to the next row. And that's literally all you had to do for this problem. I think that's it, right? That looks good to me. So yeah, you do that. And then all you have to do is return your output array, and it's not too difficult. Let me know if you guys have any questions about this. Let me just submit it. Yeah, there you go. So great solution. Just looping. It's the only extra space is the output array, so you could basically count that as constant. You're doing just a linear loop through this array, meaning, rows times column times, so m times n. But yeah, really basic. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any questions. Once again, I'm sorry for not posting as much. I started a new job, so I will be, I'm going to try and post a lot this weekend and stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think about. I don't even know, dude. Just comment questions below and I'll do them this weekend. But thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video.